enough to put his ego aside and say, right, mid-season, let's go and redraw our whole game plan and build it around Cristiano. I think there's certainly going to be fewer teams out there today than there were a couple of years ago.
Guess whose name was mentioned?
Guess whose name was mentioned?
Around signing him. I don't know how much truth in it, but we've discussed it before.
Okay.
West London.
Right. Chelsea.
Chelsea. Which, and I don't know, but that would...
Well, should we ask Gab? He might know.
Well, that would say to me is... Well, he tried before.
Yes.
He wanted to do it before.
And Tuchel went...
Yeah, Tuchel went, but Tuchel's not there anymore.
No.
Maybe he feels now he's got a manager that he can maybe control more, or... I don't know, Gab.
I mean, look, I would hope Todd Bowley's learned something, you know, since he had that conversation with Thomas Tuchel. I would hope that Graham Potter would turn to him and say, no, my team plays a certain way. You hired me to play a certain way. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a fit for my team. And I hope that would be very, very clear. I don't think Bowley can treat Chelsea like his plaything, especially since he doesn't actually own Chelsea, not all by himself. He's got partners and whatever. They're bringing in all these recruitment specialists, director of football guys. Some of them are former Brighton people. I don't see it fitting. In the end, if he says, you know, my way or the highway. But you know what? I don't think Bowley's going to do that, because if Bowley was going to try to force this on a manager, he would have forced it on Tuchel, who, you know, he was going to sack anyway, right? So I'd be really, really surprised if this happened with Graham Potter.
But to go back to how he plays in Qatar could determine and define where he goes. What he does in the meantime and how much game time he gets, whether it be against Sheriff or anybody else from the bench or gets an hour or whatever, can determine how he performs in Qatar, because he's not had much game time. And the less game time he gets going into a World Cup, and we know he normally turns it on for Portugal, but he's basically got 3 games in the group stages to get the job done. That isn't easy when you've got no match sharpness. So, and maybe that's part of the frustration of his reaction. And look, he hasn't committed a crime, and he's right to be brought back in. It's not the worst thing that's ever been done, but it was wrong. But a lot of people seem to have a problem getting their head around that effectively he's a squad player, certainly at Manchester United. Now, he might still be the kingpin at Portugal, and he might go somewhere else and be the number one again, but he certainly isn't at his old club.
Are we talking about the best clubs here that are going to be interested in this guy? Because if you're a club of any standing, right, you know exactly what you're going to get from Ronaldo. You don't need to watch Ronaldo in the World Cup to figure out what he's going to do for you. If you're one of the better teams and you just need a goal scorer, and quite frankly, Chelsea needs a goal scorer, just to throw that in. But quite frankly, you know exactly what you're going to get from this guy. If you need a goal scorer, he can still do that. Try and figure something out. Otherwise, if you're waiting to see what this guy does in the World Cup, you don't know what you're doing.
Here, the problem is for these managers, Chelsea and other clubs do not need a player who's stomping off when he's getting subbed off, who's stomping off when he's not getting brought on or he's not starting, and just bringing all these problems to jobs that are difficult enough to manage the dressing room. They just don't want it. Most of them anyway. Some may out of desperation, but that's part of the issue. It's not so much the fitness and the sharpness, it's the baggage now. The baggage is clear. And if you don't play him, and he's not the main man, which he's always been, then as a manager, and you know this, Stevie, managing players, then that becomes a problem for you in the dressing room.
He, of course, then expected to feature on Thursday in the Europa League.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.